Hello everybody! If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short Story 560, The Whispering Woods. Intermediate. In the quiet village of Blackwood, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there stood an ancient wood known as the Whispering Woods. The villagers spoke of it in hushed tones, for it was said that the trees themselves whispered secrets to those who dared to listen. The wind carried voices through the leaves, and on moonless nights shadows moved where no living creature walked. Emma, a curious and adventurous young woman, had recently moved to Blackwood. She had heard the stories about the Whispering Woods, but she was not easily frightened. One evening, under a sky filled with stars, she decided to explore the woods herself. Armed with a flashlight and a sense of determination, she stepped into the shadowy depths of the forest. As she walked deeper into the woods, the air grew colder and the whispers became louder. At first, she thought it was just the wind rustling the leaves, but soon she realized the whispers were forming words. They called her name softly, beckoning her further into the darkness. Emma's heart pounded, but her curiosity kept her moving forward. Suddenly, she saw a figure standing between the trees. It was tall and thin, with long, bony fingers that seemed to reach out for her. The figure did not speak, but its presence sent a chill down Emma's spine. She tried to run, but her feet felt heavy, as if the ground itself was holding her back. The whispers grew louder, now forming sentences that she could understand. "Stay with us," they whispered. "Join us forever." Emma struggled to break free from the invisible grip that held her. She closed her eyes tightly and focused all her strength on moving her legs. With a final burst of effort, she broke free and ran as fast as she could. The whispers faded behind her, but she could still feel the cold breath of the woods on her neck. She did not stop running until she reached the edge of the forest. As she looked back, the trees seemed to sway, as if waving goodbye, or perhaps warning her never to return. Emma knew she would never forget the night she heard the whispers of the Whispering Woods. From that day on, she stayed far away from the forest, but the memory of those eerie whispers haunted her dreams. The villagers of Blackwood nodded knowingly when she told them her story, for they knew the truth about the Whispering Woods. Some places, they said, are better left unexplored. Weeks passed, and Emma tried to put the experience behind her. She threw herself into her work at the local library, where she helped visitors find books and answered their questions. But every time the wind blew through the trees outside the library windows, she would shiver, remembering the whispers. One afternoon, an old man named Mr. Thompson came into the library. He was a historian who had lived in Blackwood his entire life. Emma decided to ask him about the Whispering Woods. "Mr. Thompson," she began hesitantly, "have you ever heard the whispers in the Whispering Woods?" The old man's eyes widened slightly, and he leaned in closer. "Ah, the Whispering Woods," he said softly. "Yes, I've heard them. Many years ago, when I was a boy, I went into those woods with my friends. We thought it would be an adventure, but we quickly realized we were not alone. The trees whispered to us, just as they did to you." Emma's eyes grew wide with surprise. "What happened?" she asked. Mr. Thompson sighed deeply. "One of my friends, a boy named Thomas, didn't listen to the warnings. He wandered too far into the woods and never returned. We searched for days, but we never found him. The villagers say he is still there, lost amongst the whispers." Emma felt a shiver run down her spine. "Do you think the whispers are dangerous?" she asked. Mr. Thompson nodded solemnly. "They are more than just whispers," he said. "They are the voices of those who have been lost in the woods over the years. The trees remember them, and they call out to others who enter, trying to keep them there forever." Emma thanked Mr. Thompson for sharing his story and spent the rest of the day deep in thought. That night, as she lay in bed, she couldn't shake the image of the tall, thin figure she had seen in the woods. She wondered if it had been the spirit of Thomas or some other lost soul. Days turned into weeks, and Emma continued to avoid the whispering woods. But one evening, as she walked home from the library, she took a wrong turn and found herself standing at the edge of the forest. The whispers started immediately, soft and gentle, almost inviting. "Come back," they seemed to say. "You belong here." Emma's heart raced as she turned away from the woods and hurried home. She knew she had to resist the temptation to return. The whispering woods were not a place for the living, and she vowed never to set foot in them again. But the whispers followed her in her dreams, and sometimes when the wind blew just right, she could still hear them calling her name. Vocabulary notes. Whisper. Definition: to speak very softly so that only the people close to you can hear you. Example: the villagers spoke of it in hushed tones, for it was said that the trees themselves whispered secrets to those who dared to listen. Synonyms: murmur, mutter, hiss, breathe. Antonyms: shout, yell, scream. Beckon. Definition: to make a gesture with the hand, head, or eyes that tells someone to come nearer or follow. Example: they called her name softly, beckoning her further into the darkness. Synonyms: summon, signal, entice, invite. Antonyms: repel, deter, discourage. Chill. Definition: a sudden feeling of fear or unease. Example: the figure did not speak, but its presence sent a chill down Emma's spine. Synonyms: shiver, shudder, thrill, tremor. Antonyms: warmth, comfort, calm. Haunt. Definition: to worry or disturb someone continually, especially in the form of bad memories or fears. Example: the memory of those eerie whispers haunted her dreams. Synonyms: torment, trouble, pursue, obsess. Antonyms: soothe, comfort, reassure. Ancient. Definition: belonging to the very distant past and no longer in existence. Example: in the quiet village of Blackwood, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there stood an ancient wood known as the Whispering Woods. Synonyms: old, antiquated, venerable, archaic. Antonyms: modern, new, contemporary. Dense. Definition: having parts that are close together, thick. Example: in the quiet village of Blackwood, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there stood an ancient wood known as the Whispering Woods. Synonyms: thick, compact, crowded, heavy. Antonyms: sparse, thin, scattered. Curiosity definition: a strong desire to know or learn something. Example: Emma, a curious and adventurous young woman, had recently moved to Blackwood. Synonyms: inquisitiveness, interest, fascination, eagerness. Antonyms: indifference, apathy, disinterest. Determination definition: the quality of being determined, firmness of purpose. Example: armed with a flashlight and a sense of determination, she stepped into the shadowy depths of the forest. Synonyms: resolve, perseverance, tenacity. Antonyms: hesitation, indecision, doubt. Eerie definition: strange or mysterious in a way that causes fear or unease. Example: the memory of those eerie whispers haunted her dreams. Synonyms: spooky, ghostly, unsettling, uncanny. Antonyms: calming, comforting, soothing. Sway definition: to move slowly or rhythmically from side to side. Example: as she looked back, the trees seemed to sway, as if waving goodbye, or perhaps warning her never to return. Synonyms: swing, rock, oscillate, undulate. Antonyms: stand still, remain steady. Story written by Proton Lumo AI. Image created by Microsoft Designer AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.
Have you ever had a story just get under your skin? Well, today we're diving into one of those. It's called The Whispering Woods. And this is a suspenseful tale, but it's not just for entertainment. It's actually designed to teach us some really powerful vocabulary that helps bring its whole chilling atmosphere to life. I mean, that line right there, that's what pulls you in, isn't it? It just immediately sets this creepy, mysterious tone. The story is telling you flat out, this isn't just the wind. Nope, the woods themselves have a voice, and you get the feeling that whatever secrets they're keeping, you probably don't want to hear them. All right. So our story kicks off in this little village called Blackwood, which sits right on the edge of a huge, dense forest. But this is no ordinary forest. The locals call it the Whispering Woods, and it's surrounded by these really chilling legends. That word dense is so important here. It means the trees are packed in so tightly together, they just swallow the light and sound, you know? It creates this little isolated world all on its own.
And this story doesn't just call the woods old. No, it calls them ancient. And that word, it just carries so much more weight. It makes you think of something from a time so far back it's almost been forgotten. Something primal and unsettling that was there long before any people, any village.
So into this setting walks our main character, Emma. She's new to the village, so she isn't really bogged down by all the local folklore and fear. She's adventurous, sure, but the most important thing about her is this really powerful sense of curiosity. And that is what's going to set this whole story into motion. And that brings us right to this word, curiosity. You see, it's not just a casual interest. The definition says it's a strong desire to know something. And for Emma, that desire is pointed squarely at the one thing everyone else is terrified of. Her curiosity basically becomes this unstoppable force, way stronger than any warning she gets. But, you know, curiosity alone isn't going to get you into those woods. Emma also has determination, that firmness of purpose. This is the quality that turns her, "I wonder what's in there," into, "I'm going in." It's what makes her grab a flashlight and actually step into the shadows. So, armed with her curiosity and her determination, Emma goes into the Whispering Woods. And as she gets deeper and deeper into the dark, the suspense, it just starts to crank up. And right away, the whole atmosphere shifts. A simple line like, The air grew colder. That's classic suspense building. It's a physical change that hints at something not quite natural. It's as if the woods themselves are aware of her, and they are not exactly rolling out the welcome mat. And then, this is the moment. That sound is no longer just leaves rustling in the wind. The whispers are actually starting to form coherent words. Can you just imagine that mix of absolute fear and maybe a little bit of fascination she must be feeling in that exact moment?
This is where the real terror kicks in. I mean, it's one thing to hear weird words in the dark. It's something else entirely when those whispers know your name. Suddenly, the threat isn't just general anymore. It is deeply, deeply personal. The woods don't just want someone, they want her.
And this quote just captures that terrifying invitation perfectly. Notice, they aren't yelling at her, they're not threatening her, they're calling her name softly, using their voices to beckon her, to pull her deeper into the darkness.
So, to beckon someone, it's about luring them closer. It's not about force, it's a gesture, or in this case, a sound. The sound of her own name becomes the bait. It's this incredibly enticing, almost hypnotic pull designed to draw her right in.
So as she follows that sound, she sees it. A tall, thin figure. And the story says that seeing it sends a chill down her spine. Now, we're not talking about the cold air anymore. This kind of chill is that sudden, sharp jolt of pure dread. It's a physical reaction to seeing something absolutely terrifying.
Okay, so Emma somehow manages to get out of the woods, but that experience, it doesn't leave her. A few weeks later, she's still looking for answers, and she finds the town historian, a guy named Mr. Thompson, who is about to reveal the real story behind the whispers.
And Mr. Thompson's story is heartbreaking. It's personal. He explains that years and years ago, he and his friends were just kids, playing near the woods, and one of them, a boy named Thomas, just wandered a little too far in. He never came back. He was, as the legend says, lost to the whispers. And here it is, the big, chilling reveal. The whispers are not just some echo or a trick of the wind. They are the actual voices of the people who got lost in those woods, people like Thomas. They're trapped there forever, and now they're calling for others to join them. What a horrifying idea.
Now you'd think knowing the truth would bring Emma some peace, right? But it does the opposite. In fact, it just solidifies the horror of what she went through, and it leaves her with a lesson that's going to stick with her forever.
The story says the memory of that night starts to haunt her. And that word is so perfect. See, to be haunted isn't just about a single scare. It's this continuous, persistent disturbance. It's a fear that follows you around, like a psychological echo of the woods call that she just can't shake.
The last word Emma uses to describe those whispers is eerie. And it is such a specific and excellent choice. Something that's eerie isn't just scary. It's strange, it's mysterious, it's unnatural in a way that just makes your skin crawl. And that perfectly captures the quality of those disembodied voices. And so the final conflict is set. On one side, you've got this possessive, creepy call from the woods. Come back, you belong here. And on the other, you have Emma's solemn promise to herself, her vow to never, ever go back. It's really her final act of defiance against that hypnotic, horrifying pull.
You see, that story is so powerful because of the specific words used to tell it. Words create the atmosphere, they build the suspense, they express the fear. So let's do a quick recap of the key vocabulary that really brought the Whispering Woods to life.
Okay, let's lock these in. We started with the woods themselves. They were ancient, meaning incredibly old, and dense, which means thick and packed together. Then we met Emma, whose curiosity and determination really drove the plot forward. Inside the woods, the voices would whisper and beckon, basically murmur and invite her in. That sent a chill down her spine, that shiver of fear. And finally, the words that describe the feeling that lasts. The memory continues to haunt or torment her, and the whole experience was just eerie, totally unsettling and spooky. Just take a second to look over this table. It's a great way to make these words part of your own vocabulary.
And that brings us to the story's final haunting lesson, but it's framed as a question for us. Emma's curiosity, that powerful desire to know, It led her to a truth that was absolutely terrifying. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. Is the search for answers always worth the risk? Or are some places, and maybe some secrets, better left completely unexplored?